I'm Shaheen Mazloom. My business is VersaBusiness Systems. We focus on helping businesses scale and save money in various different ways. So, when I started the company, we wanted to be more of a business consulting firm, to be able to take a look at a business, see what they're struggling with, and see how we can help them. But also see what their goals are, right? And see how we can be part of helping them get to where they're trying to go, right? There's just so much bad information out there and so many people out there trying to sell courses and trainings and, these one, pop a pill and it's a quick fix. Like, it just doesn't exist. And so I wanted to really focus on helping businesses. And so we started with business funding, and then we rolled out different products. We do credit card processing, tax credits, employee benefits, pretty much, even marketing and AI. Anything to help a business, scale and grow. Yeah, so the first thing is funding, right? So once you have your business established, right, and you're ready to scale. So you've got your sales process in place, you've got your foundation, you've got employees, whatever it may be, right? But you've got a working business, a profitable business. Now you need to scale. And most of the time, most businesses don't have $20, $30, $40, $50,000 sitting in their bank account, to be able to scale. And so that's where we come in. So we offer every type of business funding that there is, from long-term loans, short-term loans, lines of credit, high-risk MCA. So even if somebody has a bad credit score, they've only been in business for a few months, we can still help them. We do SBAs, we do credit lines, we can even do credit cards at 0% interest. So we try to take a look at a business and figure out, one, what the money's for. What it's going to do for their bottom line, right? Like, how fast are they going to be able to turn that money into more money? How much it's going to bring them back in revenue, for a few different reasons. One, we want to make sure that it makes sense to borrow money, right? So when people call us and they're like, hey, I want to borrow money to pay off my son's tuition or to pay off these credit cards or whatever it may be, sometimes that doesn't make sense because you're paying more in interest to pay more interest. Doesn't make sense. Now, if you're looking to borrow money to hire some more people, to do some more marketing, to scale your sales department, whatever, and it's going to generate more revenue for the business, oftentimes that's going to make sense. So, we try to get a good idea of what they're really doing with the money, and pair them with the right lending product that makes the most sense for their business. Most companies in the lending space, they focus on one type of funding. They're either, line of credit funders or MCA funders or SBA funders, right? We do it all because every business is different, right? Some people it makes sense for an SBA. Some people it doesn't. Some people qualify for an SBA. Some people don't, right? So it's always a different scenario, and every business is different. Every person is different. So, that's as far as the lending goes. So we guarantee two things: the best rate and the best term that company qualifies for, period. We have never had somebody say, oh, I was able to get a better offer here, or we don't have any of that. We don't have bad reviews. We don't have people complaining, that they had a high rate. We don't have any of that because we explain to them how lending works, and we make sure it's the right fit for them, right? We're not trying to sell them on something that they don't want or don't need or isn't going to help them, right? So then with credit card processing, nowadays most people want to get rid of those fees, right? Rather than paying 3%, to Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and whatever processor they're working with, we generally put them on a cash discount program, so it charges the fee to the customer, right? So if they've got a bar tab that's $100, if they use a card, it's going to be $103. If they pay cash, it's $100, right? That way, that business is no longer paying those credit card processing fees. Because, you or I paying $2 or 30 cents or whatever it may be to use our card, no big deal. But for that business owner that's doing 1,000 transactions a week, they could be spending $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month in credit card processing fees. So we do standard processing as well. We do high risk processing. We do crypto processing. We've got every type of software there is, so whether we need to reprogram gas pumps, or, they want a self-service kiosk at like a McDonald's, or whatever it may be, we have access to pretty much every type of technology that there is to be able to take those electronic payments, cards, checks, crypto, Cash App, set up their Uber Eats, whatever it may be. And then our other main product is tax credits mixed with benefits. So we take a look at a business and see what kind of tax credits they're not taking advantage of already. To give you an idea, Amazon, they profit billions every year, yet they get billions back in tax. They don't pay taxes. They get money back in taxes. How's that possible? Because they have a team of 100 people that are scouring to find every tax loophole and every tax credit opportunity that's out there, right? And so that's what we help your small, medium, even some of your larger businesses with, right? Like we helped Gucci realize they were leaving $20 million a year on the table in tax credits that they weren't taking advantage of, right? But even a small business, if you've got 20 employees, there's probably thousands a month that we can get you back in tax credits, but also get your employees no-cost benefits, right? The U.S. is so unhealthy. Why? Because people don't have access to counseling and marriage counseling and nutritionists and dietitians and all these things, right? It costs a lot of money for that. So we have a program that helps get people no-cost benefits, right? They don't pay anything out of pocket. The expense is covered by tax credits, and then the company actually makes a profit after the tax credits. So we're just trying to make a difference out there, in the economy, with your small mom and pop shop, with your large business, and also help the employees of these companies, right? Like it's great taking care of the business, but what about the employees? What about the ones that are at the ground floor, really trying to make a difference for that company, right? We can help them too. Absolutely. So, our target audience is really any business out there. So depending on a business's situation, what kind of industry, where they're at in their business life, right? Like, are they getting close to selling? Are they getting close to, really taking off? Are they just starting out, right? It's all different. So, depending on the business and their situation would depend on what products or services may or may not make sense for them, right? A company that has 4,000 employees, they're doing $20 billion a year, they're not going to need a short-term business loan, right? So that's generally not going to be a conversation. But your, small pizza shop that's looking to open another location, funding's going to make sense for that guy. Or the guy that owns the small Facebook marketing company that's looking to put some more ads out there to gain more clients. Same thing. It's going to make sense to get a small business loan or a business credit card or something like that. A company that that doesn't offer benefits, but they need to, right? We can help them with that. Companies that are paying way too much money for their credit card processing, or they want to upgrade their equipment because they're still using Toast or Square or what have you. So again, it's really any business out there, depending on their situation, we've got a way that we can help save them money, help them scale, put them in a better situation than when we first came across them. But the people we want to do business with are the ones that, maybe you're struggling, maybe need some help. Those are the feel goods for us, right? The small businesses that just really need some help, right? Because maybe they were taken advantage of by some sleazy sales guy, or they were put on the wrong type of equipment, or they got charged a bunch of fees, or, whatever. We like to fix those situations for people. We like to put people in a better situation. Saving a multi-billion-dollar company a few $1 million a year is cool and all, but what really feels good is saving that guy who's got a small print shop, $5,000 a month, so now he can afford to send his kid to college. That's what we really try to to focus more on. But yeah, we don't turn anyone away unless our product or services just don't make sense for them, right? So how we're able to help companies get benefits for their employees without them having to come out of pocket is it's really because we're unhealthy as a country. So a while ago, there was this thing came out called Section 125. I believe it was Obama that brought out this tax code where essentially incentivize businesses to the more benefits that their employees have. Why? Because look around, guys. A third of the country has or will have diabetes. Okay. In 1990, when fructose corn syrup got introduced to our diet, right? What happened? Everybody started getting overweight and obese and getting diabetes, right? Now, sadly, diabetes attacks usually the lower to mid-class people, right? And a lot of the times they don't have health insurance. And, so think about from a government standpoint. If a third of the world has diabetes, it costs the government, on average, $600,000 over a life period for someone that has diabetes, okay? That's because of, funeral expenses and debt that wasn't paid when they passed away, and they didn't have life insurance, and health bills that weren't paid, and doctor's bills that weren't paid, and things like that, right? So it was cheaper for the government to say, hey, if you offer X amount of benefits to your employees, we're going to give you a tax credit to cover that cost. So with this genius named Sean, he created what's called the Preventative Health Initiative. Took a bunch of tax codes together with parts of Section 125. It's similar to a cafeteria plan, and made it so companies don't have to actually come out of pocket for these benefits for their employees, and they're backdated so the tax credits cover the cost. So for example, let's say we get all of your full-time W-2 employees marriage counseling, drug counseling, depression counseling, nutritionist, vaccines, telehealth, right? So they can now talk to the therapist over their phone. We get them all that, and we get them a whole life insurance policy. All those benefits will be for their whole family, their whole household. And then they'll also have a whole life insurance policy with $1,500 a year going into it that they can use as an investment tool. Now, the tax credit in total for that employee is probably about $2,000. So all those things combined, $1,500 goes into the whole life insurance policy and pays for the tax credits, right? The other $500 is what's left, right? So there's $500 profit left for the business. So after they pay for all those deposits or those benefits for their employees, they're left with $500 from Uncle Sam at the end of the day. So if they have 2,000 employees, they've got an extra $1 million in their pocket every year from those payroll tax credits.
Okay, and how can these businesses reach out to you?
We're everywhere. If you Google VersaBusiness Systems or you Google me, Shaheen Mazloom, we're all over the place. We've got, we were interviewed on NBC, ABC, Forbes, Baltimore Magazine, Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS. You name it. But VersaBusinessSystems.com. If you go to our services, you'll see a bunch of different sections. Tax credits, employee benefits, funding, credit card processing, and so on. And, there's a lot of information in there, but also on our YouTube channel. So the Versa Business Tips YouTube channel, it's completely free. It's essentially a course on business. We have our podcast that's on there. We just did our 50th episode where we interview super successful entrepreneurs about the things that they do well and they do within their business to help businesses. You could get a college degree almost, watching those 50 episodes. And there's a lot of short, simple videos on there, different business tips and tricks and, different ways to, better ways to hire people, better ways to market, what KPIs you should be tracking to, ensure that your company's profitable and things like that. So, we try to get as much great information out there as possible. And then there's also my book. So I wrote my first book. It was a #1 bestseller, #1 new release on Amazon in about 20 categories. It's called The 5 Secrets to Getting the Best Deal on a Business Loan. Okay? Super short read. It's only, I think, 50 pages. 50 pages, explains everything on how we work to guarantee our clients the best deal on a business loan. And it also tells you how you can do it yourself, right? You don't need to come to us. We don't charge any broker fees, but if you want to do it yourself, by all means, read all about it on here. It explains how we do it. It explains some other things that we do for businesses as well. But, you can get your copy by shooting an email to info@versabusinesssystems.com. We'll send you a free ebook, or you can buy the paperback copy right on Amazon. There's hurdles every single day, right? Constantly having to put out fires, constantly having to adapt and figure things out. But I would say the biggest notable hurdle was COVID, right? Like most people. January 3rd, I got back from England visiting my family, and a client called in, and he said, "Hey, I know you guys are looking for, you guys have clients in different areas. Do you have anybody that sells medical supplies? I need 1 million masks or whatever." And my employee calls me, and she's like, "This guy's looking to see if any of our clients have 1 million masks." And I'm thinking Halloween masks, right? Like in January of 2020, nobody knew what an N95 was or a 3-ply mask or any of that, right? And so I get on the phone with the guy, and he's explaining to me about COVID and coronavirus, and the world might end. And I started doing some research that night and realized, man, this could be really bad. So long story short, we got that deal done within a week. I started pounding my network and people we do business with. And it turns out one of the clients we just funded had tons of masks. Like they literally manufactured masks, Advil, Band-Aids, all kinds of stuff. And so over the next few weeks, as I heard more about COVID, I realized I got a business opportunity here, right? Like if COVID does what they say it's going to do, business is going to shut down. And at the time, that means funding will shut down. Nobody's going to be processing credit cards, right? Like my business is over, right? I'd only been in business for 3 years at that time. I'm like, I'm going to lose everything. So I started Versa Medical Supplies, and that's what kept us afloat, right? Had I not started that company, we would have been out of business come May when everything shut down, right? We weren't able to fund a single deal for Versa Business Systems for about 5 months. We would have never survived. I was able to keep all my employees, on payroll, with jobs, selling, making money. It was an amazing time, and it really a scary time, but it showed me that I can do just about anything, right? Like there's, the world might come to an end, but I'm gonna figure out a way, right? So if I had a piece of advice for someone that's looking to scale, consultation, really thinking it through, talking to people that have done it before, really doing your research, not making decisions is a problem in business, right? I always encourage people to make fast decisions, but when you're looking to scale, before making a big decision, like where to start focusing more of your marketing dollars, do a lot of research, get some other people's opinions, right? Like make sure you're looking at the KPIs and not always just following your heart, right? Look at the data. The data will tell you everything. That would be my biggest piece of advice. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're very emotional people that try to, lead with their heart. And that's a great quality to have. But you've also got to really study those numbers and those KPIs and make educated decisions based on facts and not so much, your feelings. Yeah, so the future of Versa, our point is to get to every type of product and service that businesses need, right? We want to have a marketing avenue. We want to have a social media avenue. We want to have a photography avenue. We want to have a TV show. We want to have live events. We want to grow into every aspect of business. That'll probably come through acquisitions. So finding companies in different spaces that we don't operate in, buying those companies that are on the same moral wavelength as us, right? They have the same values as us. They treat their clients good. They don't lie. They do the right thing, right? And we can acquire companies in different areas and put it all under the Versa brand. So we become a one-stop shop for small to medium-sized businesses, and we can handle pretty much anything and everything from licensing all the way to the sale of a business. That's where Versa's going.